Emma and I had known each other since college. Our moms had been friends first, and they nudged us into each other's lives with well-meaning comments like, "You two should hang out sometime," and "Oh, you're both such book. You should read the same book and discuss it." So naturally, when my mom dropped me off at Emma's house for our first ever hangout session, we immediately went to the bookshelf to start digging through everyone's well-loved copies of Pride and Prejudice. But we quickly stopped bickering over which version was best when we saw the giant stack of manga on the top shelf. We ended up spending the whole afternoon sprawled on the floor, sharing earbuds while we passed around the books, giggling until our stomachs hurt. From there, we became inseparable. I never would have guessed that the girl who loved angsty romance novels and spooky manga would become my best friend. She was the kind of person who made any room feel warmer just by being in it, laughing loudly, hugging tightly, loving deeply. Emma was sunshine and smiles. While I preferred quiet corners and solitary activities, we were complete opposites in many ways, but somehow we fit together perfectly. We were always close, the kind of close that made people ask, "Are you two together?" When we were 17, we started going to these underground raves in abandoned warehouses. I distinctly remember someone yelling from across the room, "Hey, Em, come here, you sexy animal." Then he turned to me, grinning. "And you sexy animal too. Are you guys a couple?" Emma and I just laughed it off, but secretly, I wished we were. Throughout high school and college, I had crushes, but none of them were like the way I was around Emma. I couldn't understand why I only wanted to hang out with her, why I got jealous if she so much as talked to another guy. I had never felt this way about anyone else. I convinced myself that it was just because I had known her for so long. Then we graduated. College acceptance letters came pouring in, but Emma got waitlisted by all but one school, the one that she liked the least. I remember sitting with her as she stared at her phone, trying to hold back tears. She didn't want to go to Colorado. She didn't want to leave me. I told her that she needed to follow her dreams, that I would visit her often, and she left, taking a piece of my heart with her. It took me a year and a half to accept that she was really gone. That I wasn't just going to wake up one day and see her smiling face peering at me from the other side of the bed. I missed her terribly. I missed her laugh. I missed her hugs. I missed her stories about boys she liked and the books she read and the shows she watched. I missed everything about her. She visited me a few times, and we would spend our days walking around the city, talking about everything and nothing, and our nights curled up on my tiny dorm room floor, eating takeout and watching movies. After she left, I felt like I had lost a part of myself, like a puzzle piece that had been ripped away. But I pushed through. I finished my degree. I found a job. I made new friends. And then one day, 6 years after she left, she came back. The moment I saw her walk into the cafe, I knew that a part of me had come home. We talked for hours. I told her about my life in the big city. She told me about her adventures abroad. And somewhere in between sips of coffee and bites of cake, I realized that my feelings hadn't changed. I still loved her. I still wanted to be with her. We began seeing each other every day, just like we had in college. We'd meet up for coffee or go on walks along the river. We talked about everything. Even the elephant in the room, how we both knew there was something more between us, but we were afraid to admit it. One night, during a late summer rainstorm, we were at her apartment. The power had gone out, so we lit candles and curled up on the couch with mugs of hot cocoa. Thunder cracked outside, but in that little bubble of soft light and quiet laughter, it felt safe, like nothing could touch us. Emma looked at me, her eyes softer than usual, her voice barely a whisper. You know, you feel like home. My breath caught in my throat. That one sentence, it wrapped around my chest, warm and terrifying. She smiled, nervous and vulnerable, like she had just opened a door she wasn't sure she should have opened. What did you say? I asked, even though I'd heard her clearly. You feel like home, she repeated, her gaze holding mine. I've tried to ignore it for so long. I told myself we were just friends, but when I'm with you, I don't want to be anywhere else. The world slowed down. All the nights we spent tangled up in silence, all the just friends moments that felt like more. Every time our fingers brushed and my heart skipped. I wasn't imagining it. I moved closer, my heart pounding so loud I was sure she couldn't hear it. I feel the same, I whispered. I've been scared to ruin what we have. Emma reached out and gently tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. Maybe we're not ruining anything. Maybe we're just finding what we've been looking for. I leaned in, our foreheads touching, breaths mingling in the candlelight, and then slowly, like the universe finally exhaled, we kissed. It wasn't dramatic or rushed. It was soft, familiar, like coming home after a long journey. We stayed on the couch, her head resting on my shoulder, fingers interlaced like we'd done it 1,000 times before. The storm had passed, but the air between us still crackled with new energy. The next morning, nothing felt awkward. There were no regrets. Just a quiet understanding that everything had shifted beautifully. We were still us, but now with love unfolding between us like sunlight through open curtains. Sometimes love doesn't arrive in fireworks. Sometimes it whispers. It hides in friendship, in shared laughter, in quiet comfort, and sometimes it just takes one brave sentence to finally bring it to light. A week later, I was sitting in my favorite armchair, reading a book while Emma lay on the floor, playing a video game. Suddenly, she stopped moving and looked up at me with a mischievous grin. Do you remember the first time I said you felt like home? I nodded, smiling. How did you feel then? I was scared, I admitted. I knew my feelings were more than friendship, but I didn't know where they would lead us or if they'd change. I was terrified of losing you. Emma sat up, her eyes serious. I was scared too, but I knew I couldn't keep pretending. Not anymore. I needed to tell you how I felt. I needed to see if you felt the same. Me too, I whispered. We sat in silence for a moment, lost in the memory of that rainy night, then burst out laughing. The sound echoed through the apartment, mingling with the soft strumming of a nearby guitar. Outside, the world hummed with life. A dog barked playfully. Children's laughter drifted from a nearby park, and the sun shone brightly, chasing away the remnants of the storm. We were alive and in love, and in this moment, nothing else mattered. Sometimes, love doesn't arrive in grand gestures. It arrives in quiet moments of connection, in shared laughter and whispered confessions. It arrives in the comfort of familiarity and the courage to speak one's truth. It arrives in the simple, beautiful realization that you've found home in each other's embrace. As the day wore on, we didn't need grand declarations or promises. We had each other, and the quiet assurance that we had found something special, something real, something worth cherishing. The rest as they say, is history.